When Robert Redford performed in The Great Gatsby, he wore a pink suit. It was a big buzz, and they said it takes a real man to wear pink. Last year, I got taunted at the door. Oh, nice. That spot's right. Izod? No. The whole idea of the symbol, the rose, the pink candle, is that we're almost there. It's only so many shopping days, if you will, till Christmas. It's time not to shop, really, but really to pray. And it's an invitation to joy, an invitation to dress up, if you will. We're asked to say, how might we experience Christ now in this season? It's not an invitation to a Charles Dickens Christmas of sitting around thinking about the past, but rather to think about what we do this day. Each day, each year, each season gives us an opportunity to grow in our moral lives. People will say, I'm a good person. And the question we should pose to ourselves, not to others, can we be better people? It can be very difficult. There's things that come in the way. Sometimes we have people who are skeptics, and they come and they rain on our season. That kind of war against Christmas type of thing. But we can kind of brush that away. We have people that come and they want to introduce new traditions, and they're unfamiliar, and we don't really like that. We do find ourselves in a comfort zone. We look for familiar sights, songs, music, and friends and family. When we think about it, 50% of the people who are raised as Catholic no longer identify as Catholic. And some people switch religions. I know of one man who switched from being Pentecostal to evangelical to Muslim, and finally he became Catholic. At least this morning he was Catholic. So who knows? But that's part of the marketplace of faith in the United States. Yes, we do kind of long for the day when you couldn't shop on Sunday and everything was decked out. But as the percentage of Christians goes down in the United States, it's still at around 85% of the country. There are people that have moral issues, and they lead the practice of faith because of things that have happened in their lives, not of their own choosing, but things don't always go the right way. And there are people that have very bad experiences of the faith. I was having lunch with, this is years ago, with 3 priests, and I just asked a question, how's your rectory? Because rectories come in 2 versions, either Versailles or landfill. There's nothing in between. And the other priest, who's a young priest ordained after me, got very upset, like really upset, like blasted me. And I thought, if I weren't a priest, I would never go back to church. This guy is really something. Years later, he left priesthood, and I said, good, which was the wrong reaction, I realized. But anyways, I still sometimes say, good. Because if he was treating me that way, what did he do in the confessional? He wrote a tell-all book. It was really boring. There was nothing to tell. And I thought about it. It really does matter how people experience someone who identifies as Christian. We can get it when people don't disagree. People say, oh, you call yourself a Christian. I hate when they throw that in your face. But why don't we beat them to the punch? How can we be better? How can we call ourselves Christians? None of us are really worthy to do it. But then Jesus says, no, there's mercy. Of course you're worthy to do it. He makes the offer of salvation. Rigidity doesn't win the day. Rules make us feel comfortable because we can say, oh, this is good. I can go from here to here. And if I go beyond that, well, it's much more interesting. Catholicism is kind of, there are walls to it. But really, they're the walls of a playground. You're supposed to be filled with joy. This Gaudete, Rejoice Sunday, is an opportunity to say, joy can be mine. I have to pull myself, with God's grace, out of this funk. I could say, it's winter and it's miserable, but actually, I'm going to go to the beach this afternoon. This is ridiculous, and it's wonderful. We have the opportunity each and every day to renew ourselves. Yesterday, we had a beautiful event in town, Wreaths Across America, and it began when L.L. Bean had something like 5,000 wreaths left over, and they asked Arlington National Cemetery, can we come down and put them on the headstones? Sure. And that's grown to It's a huge enterprise. Even in the foreign cemeteries where our service people are buried, they put wreaths on every single headstone during the holiday season. And it's just wonderful that people are not forgotten and that we could be better. It was something new. It was a new way to care, a new way to show appreciation, a new way to be called Christian, a new way to love, and really an invitation for joy. We're urged, really this Sunday, to shout for joy. We recently celebrated, yesterday, Saturday, the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, known as the Mother of the Americas. And our receptionist at the rectory is an artist, and she painted the icon you see on the altar of Lady of Guadalupe and St. Juan Diego. Yesterday, I was bracing at 9 o'clock for hundreds and hundreds of people to celebrate Our Lady of Guadalupe. So when the 15 people showed up, I said, well, would anybody, we got churros from Mexicali down the street, and I got lots and lots of churros. I could eat, 15 trays of churros, but instead everybody got a tray to go home, and we had chocolate and caramel and all that. And it was wonderful because during the reading of the gospel, which talks about the birth of Jesus, there's one young family there, and their baby started crying. It was beautiful. Cause for joy. Really just a wonderful opportunity to celebrate. We live lives of expectation, not lives of greed or selfishness. We're not about power or position, but rather a response to the offer of salvation, that in the midst of your family and friends and community, there's an opportunity for goodness and joy. This is not a feast day for the people who find the glass half full. There's always someone to, say, well, we could have done this and you could have done that. None of that. Rather, this is a day to count your blessings. This is the day to say, with God's grace, I can do better. With God's word, just as those that went for baptism from John the Baptist asked, what can I do? What should we do? We ask ourselves, what should we do? And also, we offer others the opportunity for joy. Now in Christmas, lots of people show up. I don't know if you know this, but lots of people show up. Why? Because they think they're going to calendars. No, because it's Christmas, and the calendars will be distributed next week for the people that come all the time, which is kind of like cranky, but that's all right. So you'll get the calendars, what's ever left over. But we have to be hospitable. It's really easy to be judgmental. I had an uncle who was a priest, and my middle name is Justin. I'm named for him, and I was afraid of him. I was so afraid of Uncle Justin because he would smoke and like, what are you doing, kid? What are you doing? I'm like, and my aunt would say, you got to be just like your Uncle Justin. I said, I hope not. Please, God, don't let me be like him. And he would taunt the people every Christmas and Easter. Here they come down the aisle. You don't know when to stand up. You don't know when to sit. You know what? Don't do that. I shouldn't. I try not to do that. I don't do that because I look at this great company's coming. You can answer the door. You know how this is. As soon as you figure out it's not a salesperson, you can answer the door with a smile, or you can answer the door with like, oh, or, oh, this is great. This is wonderful. This is a party. Catholics know how to celebrate. If you don't, you're not a good Catholic. If people don't want to invite you to their celebrations because you ruined the last one, we figured that out quickly. My family's very good at celebration. My mother insisted I come to the party today that she's having. I once had a cousin get arrested for fighting his way into a bar. Very impressive. I thought that was he wasn't even in there. That was pretty good. It's embarrassing, too, when they put it on the front page of the paper, but that's Waterbury. Prepare yourself for the coming of joy into your heart. Get rid of your bad mood. Why? Because what do people want to meet? They want to meet Christ, and they only experience Christ in you. Yes, occasionally, priests mess it up big time. But other times they'll come back and say, I was sitting at church, and the guy in front of me, the baby in back of me, they're talking about you. So here's 3 things we can do for Christmas when here they come down the aisle. I know it's New England. Smile. Your mother paid a lot for that dental work, so let's try. Isn't it painful? It just hurt. You feel like you're from the Midwest, smile. Second thing, move in. Move into if I can look straight down here, I can see the back wall straight. There's nobody in the middle. You're all at the ends. Move in. It's not your pew. Because, come on in. Instead of sitting there and climbing over. You know how awful it looks when you're all dressed up and you have to climb over someone? Camel hair looks terrible. It looks like monkeys jumping in and out of the pew. Move in. And the third thing is, look at them and give a nice sign of peace. And if you're sick, don't do the no, don't touch me. Do the Merry Christmas. Because why? They're experiencing Christ in you. They're experiencing Christ in you. And that gives them joy. We're all a vehicle for God's grace. And so, on this third Sunday, Gaudete Sunday, we practice for Christmas. We'll make a good impression and not give them any reason not to come back again. Maybe they'll forgive the church for the bad experiences. Maybe they'll get over the challenges that they have. But in this Jubilee year of mercy, be merciful to those that come into your life. And now, we have to finish Christmas shopping.